Hi, this is Aaron Stavanis, the Technical Sales Manager with the Mosaic Company covering Eastern Canada. And I'm here today to cover off some alfalfa trials we have with our performance products throughout the province of Ontario. This specific field is located in Central Ontario. And a little bit of background on it. Central Ontario went through a severe drought of recently. We just had some rains to kind of help alleviate that, but for that, specifically forage crops, second cut was a little bit thin. So the grower wanted to come up with a management strategy, see if they could push more feed out of this third-year alfalfa field before they turn it down, and they thought they'd do that through fertility. So they talked to their retailer and decided to come up with a little plot to see if the fertility program would actually push to where they want to be. So what they have is three passes throughout the field. So they have a strip of an untreated check, so no fertility after second cut. The second strip is a blend of Aspire at 100 pounds and K-Mag at 100 pounds. And then the third strip is a blend of Aspire at 150 pounds and K-Mag at 150 pounds. So the goal of this was to see essentially if we're increasing our fertility with our performance product, can we get more yield, more quality, more protein, so the grower can grow buy less protein into their ration, and obviously how that compares if he didn't fertilize at all. So before we kind of get into the whole nitty-gritty of what's going on here, I just want to talk a bit about what these performance products are. What is Aspire? What is K-Mag? So Aspire, we'll start with that, is a muriate of potash produced right here in Canada, in Saskatchewan, and we enrich it with 0.5% of boron. So the analysis of it is a 0,0, 58% potassium, and 0.5% of boron. In that 0.5% of boron, we have a sodium borate, which is a fast, instant release boron, and we have a calcium borate, which is a little bit of slower release of boron, and between the two of them together, we have a season-long availability of boron, which is pretty important to fertility in a forage crop. And also having it all in one granule, so we have even distribution of the boron, is also crucial. So we don't have any toxicity, we have an even distribution of boron. Every plant is getting some boron. K-Mag is a very unique product. We call it nature's trifecta of fertility. It literally comes out of the ground as a 21.5% potassium, so a 0,0, 21.5% potassium, 10.5% magnesium, and 21% sulfur. This blend has been very successful in forages, and a big part of that is because it's very soluble and it's very plant available right away, and plus that sulfur and magnesium helps in balanced crop nutrition. It also has a very, very low salt index. So now, what's the difference here? What's going on? So on my right here, this is where we have our 100 pounds of Aspire and 100 pounds of K-Mag blend. On my left is where we have the untreated check. So I want to just go through that and see what are we seeing? What is the benefits of the fertility program versus the untreated check? So we'll start with 100 pounds of boron, Aspire and 100 pounds of K-Mag first. As you can see, as we look through this crop, it's very dense. The regrowth is aggressive. We have a lot of leaves intact from the bottom to the top. We're just holding on to a lot more leaves and more aggressive growth, and it's thicker. Nice thick crop, quick growth, which means more yield, and hopefully more protein as we see lots of leaves on these alfalfa plants. Now let's move over to the untreated check and see what we see there in comparison to the fertilized section. As you can see in this section, we don't have the vigorous growth that we had before. It's not as fast. It's definitely less leaves. It's just less push. So we're not getting utilization of photosynthesis. We're not getting utilization of biomass in compared to the fertilized areas. And less leaf, potentially could be less protein and less yield. So why are we seeing this? Why are we seeing the differences in fertility between the two? Well, let's start off with the low-hanging fruit. We know that potassium is very, very, very important to hay fertility, to forage fertility. When you look at the crop removal of alfalfa, of potassium, it's massive. And that's because we're taking the whole biomass off, we're not leaving anything behind, and it is just using a lot of it. So we need to put a lot of it back, not only to balance back to the soil we've taken out, but just to continue that growth of the plant. It needs it. Let me tell you something a little bit about Aspire that's pretty cool. So I mentioned that it had boron enriched in it, and every granule has 0.5% of boron. The neat thing that we've done some work with Dr. Chekmek, and he showed that when we have boron in solution with potassium, the plant actually takes more potassium up. So it essentially makes that potassium more efficient. So if we have a little bit of boron in each granule, we're going to get that potassium into the plant faster. And so that could be what we're seeing in this crop, is that little bit of boron getting more potassium in quicker. We know that potassium really helps with essentially vigor and leaf holding into the plant, into alfalfa plants. So we could be seeing that there as well. You throw in the magnesium and the sulfur from the K-mag section of that, then we're helping with protein. Magnesium and sulfur are both major factors in the synthesis of protein, and also are very big proponents of chlorophyll, which helps with more photosynthesis and that green color of the plant. So in general, when we're providing that balance of all the nutrients the plant needs, we're going to start seeing effects like we see in this field here. And I really think it's crucial to that nutrition of the crop. So long story short, what are we saying? Well, let's think differently. If you're, say, not fertilizing your alfalfa crop, if you're basing it all on manure, maybe talk to your retailer and think about that. Maybe you need to have a good fertility plan. And maybe you need to think about using products like Aspire and K-mag so you can get a more balanced crop nutrition. Not just be worrying about N, P, and K, but looking at some enriched micronutrients and secondary macronutrients as well. So we can really push that hay crop. We can get more tons off of your field. We can get more protein in your ration so you don't have to buy as much protein in, and really just help your bottom line. Well, that's it for me. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. It's Aaron Savanas here signing off from the field, and I hope you grow on with boron and take care. Thank you.